幻の歴史始まりの海賊ジョイボーイ
In episode 1148 of One Piece, a winged figure fell out of the sky and landed into the ocean. No elaboration has been shown since that happened about what that was, but 1148's title was The Lost History, Joyboy, the First Pirate. This had me thinking, right? So the last few episodes of One Piece have been about, the Void Century, about Joyboy, and all the stuff that happened during then. And this had me thinking, like, who was that guy, that angel, that fell out of the sky? You can kind of make out that it's like a humanoid figure with wings. The wings are the only like detailed part. The rest is a silhouette. And I was thinking about it, and it clicked in my head. So the angel fell out of the sky. It was a fallen angel. Lucifer, from the Bible, was a fallen angel. He's called the devil, and in One Piece there are devil fruits. So that made me think. Whoever that fell out of the sky, whoever that angel was, is responsible for the existence of the devil fruits. Right? So, since the title of the episode is The Lost History, Joyboy, the First Pirate, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's Joyboy. But right now, we don't know anything else that about Joyboy as of 1150. So some people say that it's symbolic of Vegapunk learning too much about Joyboy, who is Nika, the sun god, and that whole sequence was supposed to resemble Icarus, who flew too close to the sun. It was supposed to show that Icarus and Vegapunk's ambitions were the death of both of them. Icarus flew too close to the sun, and Vegapunk learned about the sun god, so they both died because of their ambitions relating to the sun. But like that whole winged figure falling out of the sky, it wasn't spoken about by Vegapunk. Vegapunk didn't talk about it at all. And maybe the will of D is the will of the devil. And Joyboy is the devil since he's a fallen angel. And that's assuming if Joyboy is the guy that fell out of the sky. And maybe if that's the case, then devil fruits are called that because he created them. And another big thing that goes into this is that, like, earlier in the show, they explained that devil fruits manifest from people's intense desires. And then desires and temptation are related to the devil in Christianity. Lucifer was cast out of heaven after leading a rebellion against God, spurred by his desire to be equal to God and to usurp his throne. Desire and temptation in those stories are usually met with punishment should you indulge in it, which reflects to the punishment that you receive from eating a devil fruit. The punishment being that you can't swim anymore. And the punishment is far worse now in modern One Piece times because the whole world is, islands and mostly ocean. But before, during the time of Joyboy, it was mostly continents and less ocean. Another part of this is the part where Vegapunk is talking about like how he doesn't see the war during the Void Century as a war of like good versus evil, but rather a clash of ideologies. And if Joyboy is supposed to represent this like Lucifer character, then Lucifer's or like his whole thing, especially as we see it reflected in or see Joyboy reflected in Luffy, is that he desires freedom above all else, and he was fighting against this alliance of 20 kingdoms, called the Alliance, which is such a great name. So he was clashing against them as a clash of ideologies, freedom versus like order and control. And as we know, the war ends with Joyboy's defeat, and then like the world government is created, and at the top of the world government is Emu, the shadowy figure that we've been seeing, and then beneath them is those the five elders, and then what would have been like the 20 kingdoms. And on top of that is all the different kingdoms that came to be after whatever was going on, after like the world flooded and it was everyone was fragmented, all the people are fragmented. So Joyboy, if he's this Lucifer like character, then he was cast out of heaven for his ideology, thinking that he could be equal to God or equal to whoever is up there in One Piece heaven. And he lands on Earth, which is, populated by governments that have order and law and stuff. And he becomes to be known as the first pirate. And pirates are all about being free above all else, which is reflected in every single pirate. Every single pirate in the show is going after their own freedom. Some people put freedom of other people as a major concern, such as Luffy. Other people don't, such as like for his time in Nami's hometown. So Joyboy is seen as this Lucifer figure. He comes down to Earth because he's cast out or something, and he is wakes up in this world where there's governments and law and order and stuff, and he obviously doesn't mesh with that, so he ends up going to war with them, and he ends up being defeated, as we see from the part of the show where Vegapunk is talking about this that it was a war of clash of ideologies. It was just Joyboy versus the 20 Kingdoms. Now, obviously, Joyboy probably had some sort of crew or something, and so it was Joyboy versus like people that far like outnumbered him, and then um, Vegapunk goes on to talk about how Joyboy left behind the means of accessing um, the ancient weapons to pirates. He left them behind for pirates, and obviously the world government is very interested in chasing after that and trying to get their hands on those. Um, and those powers, those weapons, are probably like they can't be recreated by the world's greatest scientist. And he says, and Vegapunk says that, and he says, "Oh, this is like, what is this? Like, how can I not recreate this stuff?" Which makes it, which leads me to believe that it is some sort of divine power that makes up these weapons, and that these are the remnants of, or like Joyboy's legacy. Joyboy introduced these powers, these weapons, into the world of One Piece. They can't be recreated for obvious reasons because he was a angel or some divine being, and he left them behind for people that share in his ideology of freedom above all else. Um, and it's seen that Shirahoshi, Princess Shirahoshi, um, she has the power of Poseidon, and Pluton is over in Wano. So obviously, those powers were not really left to pirates, but they managed to find their way into the hands of allies of pirates and people that are allied with Monkey D. Luffy and his crew. Joyboy, with that was his legacy. He was defeated, and he left behind these ancient weapons of divine power that can't be replicated by anybody, not even the world government, not even Vegapunk. Um, and I'm assuming that he is responsible for the creation of devil fruits or the introduction of devil fruits, which manifest due to somebody's great desire or multiple people's great desire for something. That obviously is also not science. While Vegapunk creates artificial devil fruits, they're not perfect, right? He was trying to recreate Kaido's devil fruit, which was make him a blue dragon, um, and he couldn't get it, even though he's like the smartest person in the world. He made a pink dragon, and that was like the only devil fruit that he successfully recreated. While the winged figure fell out of the sky, it was glowing. It had this like heavenly glow to it, like it was putting off its own light. And at a certain point, it lost that light while it was still falling, and then fell into the earth. So, you know, that must be like, oh, it loses its connection to the divine world or whatever. Um, Obviously, it was the light of this winged figure was far like whiter, more bright, more heavenly than the dark purple sky it was falling from. Um, some people were saying that that sky looked like what the sky looked like with Lelusia when that island was destroyed. Um, Whatever that weapon was called, which I don't remember, the ancient weapon was powered by the mother flame that Vegapunk created. Um, and he explained that the mother flame is used to power all of these, or could be used to power all of the ancient weapons. Though I can't see how that would really affect Poseidon because that's just Princess Shirahoshi just has that within her. Um, but it would work for Pluton, and it would work for the big laser death beam that the world government or Emu seems to have in their hands. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that's I guess my analysis of the last few episodes of One Piece.